Hey Sam. I'm excited for today's lesson. We're going to learn the word
Klasse.
Klasse.
That sounds interesting. What does it mean?
Great question.
Klasse.
Primarily means
Klasse.
as in a group of students or a category of things. It can also mean top quality or excellence. The most common usage is in the school context. Just be careful with false friends because it can also sound like class in English, but it doesn't have the same connotation.
So, what about the grammar? What's important to know about?
Klasse.
Klasse.
Is a feminine noun, so it uses the article.
Die.
In the plural, you say.
Die Klassen.
To give you an example, you might say.
Die Klasse ist groß.
Meaning the class is big. In the past tense, you could use it in a sentence like.
Die Klasse war interessant.
Which translates to the class was interesting. For the perfect tense, you would say.
Die Klasse hat viel gelernt.
Meaning the class learned a lot.
That's helpful. What about the imperative form?
Well, since
Klasse.
is a noun, it doesn't have an imperative form. But if we were discussing the verb,
Klassen.
as in to classify, you could say.
Klassifiziere das Buch.
Meaning classify the book.
Where does the word
Klasse.
come from?
Klasse.
Has its roots in the Latin word,
Classis.
which referred to a group or division. Over time, it evolved in German to represent not just educational classes but also categories and qualities. Isn't that interesting?
It really is. I love learning about the origins of words.
Now, let's break down.
Klasse.
It's not a compound word, so we can't split it into parts like prefixes and suffixes. However, you can associate it with class in English to remember its meaning.
That makes sense.
Speaking of similar words, let's explore some. For example, we have
Klassenraum.
which means classroom. It combines
Klasse.
and
Raum.
meaning room. Then there's
Klassenarbeit.
meaning classwork, which combines
Klasse.
and
Arbeit.
meaning work.
What other examples do you have?
Good question. There's also
Klassenreise.
which means class trip.
Klassenkamerad,
meaning classmate, and
Klassenbesten,
meaning top of the class. Each of these keeps the
Klasse,
root. Then we have,
Klassi,
which is informal slang for something cool or great.
I see how they all connect.
Let's practice using
Klasse,
in real-life situations. Imagine you're in a school setting. You could start with,
die Klasse hat ein Projekt.
can you repeat that?
Die Klasse hat ein Projekt.
Perfect. Now, try this one.
Ich bin in der Klasse des besten Schülers.
Ich bin in der Klasse des besten Schülers.
Great job. That means I am in the class of the best student. Now, let's say you're at a meeting. You could say,
Die Klasse der Ideen ist wichtig.
Die Klasse der Ideen ist wichtig.
exactly. Now, one more situation, you're talking about equality. You could say,
Das ist eine gute Klasse.
can you try that?
Das ist eine gute Klasse.
Nicely done. Now let's talk about gender memory hints. Since
Klasse.
is feminine, you might remember it by thinking of a feminine ending like. A vivid image could be a classroom filled with flowers, representing beauty and femininity.
That's a fun way to remember it.
For usage notes,
Klasse.
is generally neutral and can be used in both formal and informal contexts. Some common phrases include
Klasse machen.
meaning to do well, and
Klasse sein.
meaning to be excellent. Be cautious with words like
Klasse.
and,
Klasse.
as they can confuse English speakers.
I'll keep that in mind.
Now, let's review with a quick quiz. What is the gender of?
Klasse.
It's feminine.
Correct. What's the plural form?
Die Klassen.
Right again. How would you say the class learned a lot in German?
Die Klasse hat viel gelernt.
Excellent. What is the origin of the word?
Klasse.
It comes from Latin, right?
Yes. Last question, can you give me an example using?
Klasse.
In a sentence.
Die Klasse ist groß.
Perfect. You did great. To wrap up, today we learned that
Klasse.
means class, and it can signify both educational groups and quality. Remember the gender, the usage, and the interesting origins. Keep practicing, and I'm sure you'll remember it well.
Thanks, Alex. This was really fun and informative. I can't wait to use it.
You're welcome, Sam. See you next time.